multinational Google. We are grateful to him for accepting our invitation and for connecting himself with young minds to help them strive towards success and achievement. An IEEE member with 5 patents under his sleeve, he has been deeply invested in product designing. And other than that, he has keen interest in public speaking, mentoring, and writing as well. He also has expertise in UI UX. He was recently awarded by the Honorable Indian Defense Minister, Sri Rajnath Singh. We are honored to have you here, sir.
Hi Vanshika and hi Isha. Thank you for having me here. And it is really a proud moment for me and as a candidate and also like as a future we can say alumni for the Chandigarh University to having such good placements and um, in Google, Atlassian, multinational companies, and there would be many more like when you guys will be appearing for the placements as well.
Yes, sir, definitely. So, your story is a milestone for all of us. So, how would you like to describe your journey so far?
My journey was like regular, filled with ups and downs, as always. Uh, I started with, I can say, with my interests, and later on understood that not only the interest would take us from like step one to final step. Rather, we have to work on the profile. We have to choose a profile. We have to work towards it. We have to build a fantastic resume to be in like very big companies and we can also say that we have to work on ourselves and we have to take our friends with us because we can't be anywhere without our friends.
Yes, sir. So, how was your experience during the interview and were you confident about getting the job?
My interview actually started with a bit of nervousness because um, I didn't know exactly what would be the questions that would be asked from me and what would be the topics and like it's been like a little while that I like attended an interview because I was already working as an intern for quite some time and this was like out of nowhere because it took almost a month to get from the first test to the interview. So I started quite nervous, but like as I cleared the rounds, my confidence built up. And from like can say from second round, it was like um, very good because my I can say I wasn't that nervous. I accumulated confidence because I cleared a few rounds and I knew that I am going somewhere during the interview and uh, after third round I was pretty much confident that I got it and even asked for feedback in between like how I did from the interviews because the interviews were from Google itself and uh, yeah it was like a wonderful experience. I would say like you all would also enjoy it once you get your chance.
I think we all will. So, asking you about the start of your journey at Chandigarh University, how did you felt when you took admission here, and did you expect all of this happening to you after 4 years of your BTech?
um No, I wouldn't say that. Like when I started, I thought that yeah, there would be time that I would interview at Google or any other big company, and I would clear it. Because at the time I started, I didn't know even like my main interests or what are the various profiles that I can work on. But then I met a few teachers like Anshul sir, Divneet sir, Kiran Jot sir, Khushal Thakur sir. So Rashmeet sir as well. So teachers like these helped me quite a lot in understanding that my own interest as well like the profiles that are there. And I would suggest that for you all also the first step should be like knowing your own interests, because I have seen like people choosing computer science engineering and don't know like the C of the computers. And there are also people who started this way, but on the journey they learned so much that like one of my friend, he's placed in Walmart, and he used to bug me a lot like, bhai ye bata de, bhai wo bata de. And I'm really proud of him as well. He is also proud of me. And I would say that in the start it wasn't like whole confidence wasn't present in me at the start, but I knew that I had to work, and I have to find some profiles that I have to build my resume according to it. So uh, yeah, I actually started working quite early. In my first year, I filed the patents. So at that time, I knew that like innovation was something that I was into, solutions was something I was into. And later on, I went into research papers as well. Um, I joined the IEEE. So there I learned a lot, worked on some projects, and basically got the knowledge that what was actually in the industry at the time, and what are the future scopes as well.
So how do you think IEEE helped you in gaining all this knowledge, doing research work and all?
Uh, basically, like when you work on a lot of projects, you get to know about a lot of technologies. Like as you all know, that Chandigarh University is also offer like artificial intelligence, information security, big data. So all these technology, you basically take one of them at the time of joining the college. And some of you might be into general computer science and not into the specialization. So like when you work with organizations like IEEE, you get to know like quite a lot, starting with the technology itself and what the future uh, would be according to like some industry professionals. Because the organization isn't only like comprising of the students only, because they are there are a lot of people from the industry as well. I met a lot of people, and I understood at least the basics of each technology, and like got to know that I was into Internet of Things. So my most of the patents are based on IoT. So like if some of you don't know about IoT, I would suggest like in most basic words, if we say something is smart, so that smartness is coming from IoT. So that would be it. I think this is how IEEE helped me a lot in my career.
So, as you mentioned, you've been involved with patents from the first year. So, how did you manage coding and working with patents and college studies?
Um, I wasn't that much into coding. What I did was trying my best to uh, like get into all of the things so that I can find like the best fit for me. Uh, Starting with coding, I did try coding. I tried IT, security, IoT, AI, cloud, everything. Like I read about everything. I tried making projects in everything. But then, like when my interest was clear about IoT, then I started working on the patents, because I was able to solve real world problems. So that was the I can say the checkpoint when I thought that if I am able to solve such problems, then I should get the solutions patented on my name, and also that my patents or my products would help like the rest of the people to solve the problems.
Since you mentioned that coding, you were not very much involved in coding. Did it affect your interviews at Google or anything sort of?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we consider like some profiles like software engineer or even the technical solutions engineer, the coding is like a vital part of it. I wouldn't say that. like if you know coding, like you can clear all the interviews, and if you don't know coding, you can't clear interviews. That like there are multiple rounds, there are multiple subjects, there are multiple topics that would be required. Coding is, I would say, a very important part. That knowing coding is, I would say, really um, can like improve your profile, and also like most of the problem solving would be also dependent upon coding. So it mainly depends upon your interests, and um, also that what profile you choose. I chose technical solutions engineer. So in this profile, coding is required, but not very much. There are profiles like software engineer, which are majorly dependent upon coding. So that is like profile dependent, I would say. So this is how you have to think, like in which way to go, which skills you have to work upon.
So,
So do,
did you manage to get time for other extracurricular things apart from studying for your interviews and doing coding?
Uh, it wasn't like the world isn't like black and white, that you are doing coding or you are not doing coding. There, I would say, like I invested my time like very correctly, because after my college I like used to play football a lot. uh, then I understood that like this is the time that is very crucial. Now I have to prioritize my studies, or my trainings, etc., or my certifications that would be required. So like after a little while, my mainly focus was on studying, but I wouldn't say that I didn't enjoy my time like before that or during that. um, I would say that um, like in summer holidays or winter holidays, I went to college because my teachers were like very good, because they knew that like if a person is willing to do so much, then they would support him. uh, so I'm really grateful to all my teachers as well.
so do you think that courses on Coursera and Udemy can motivate students to pursue more in technical fields?
See, basically the courses are to um, you can say give more clarity towards a certain topic. uh, the like it is also dependent on the profile that you are aiming for. Like if you go towards Udemy, they have like small courses. You can get a very uh, like very quickly topic that you aren't getting like from yourself or from googling something. So like this is a very good way to decide your own interest, because if you go to Udemy, you can search about cloud computing, you can search about AI, and if you like something, you can go very deep into it. Like Coursera, in Coursera, like industry professionals have made all the courses, like most of the courses, not all of them. Like I did the like one of the Google's own course. It is called the IT support professional. So it is mainly dependent upon OS, Linux, DBMS, security. So that is also a very good way to like know your own interests, and also to boost your own academics, because most of those topics that are discussed in the course are quite relevant to your own curriculum. Like operating system, it is a very vital part, and I would say that yeah, like such platforms really help students a lot.
So, what was your career strategy or planning during the third and fourth year?
By I would say by the end of third year, uh, I was already an intern at High Radius. So I said that I started quite early, that I knew I had to do something in first year itself. So by third year, uh, I was already prepared for most of the things. Uh, I also like went through the training for aptitude and soft skills because I knew that like the first few rounds are basically aptitude, soft skills, because not only this tests your problem solving skills, but also like in industry you have to talk to multiple people. You have to explain yourself that how you came up with the solution, or uh, like if there is any other project, so you have to collaborate. So it doesn't work in a way like I will make the whole project. There are multiple people working towards the same goal. So your soft skills are like quite important, not only just with the communication, but also with the you can say the like the explaining the first impression, like how you shake hand with someone, is something like quite important, because if it is like very loose, then the person will think that you're not that quite confident. And if you press very hard, then it is obviously known to be like dominating, that you are dominating the person in front of you. So very small things that are there matter quite a lot. And I would say that being an early starter helped me a lot.
That's great, sir. So, how did you work on your soft skills?
Like basically like practicing, mainly talking to people. I remember that there was an international student in my class, so I thought that it is a brilliant opportunity to talk to him, and on the same time I would have to work on myself. So talking to him, talking to my friends, uh, clearing mock interviews. I remember that I gave a few mock interviews as well, and I practiced writing as well. You know that I was into patents as well, so uh, while writing patents, you have to be really good in English as well. There shouldn't be any mistakes in writing that. Similarly, in research papers, so I wrote those. So that made both the like the soft skills and the technical part like strong.
Great, sir.
Did you okay? So did you ever prepare like okay, I have to be placed at Google, so I have to do this. Did you ever do this thing with yourself?
Mainly like the process of Google was quite different from the other drives that I was into. So when I cleared a few rounds, it started with me recording a video on why customer is very important. So that tested soft skills. I had to retake the videos multiple times so that I can impress the people who would be watching that video. Then I had to clear a technical test that was like comprising of all the things that were required in the profile: operating system, DBMS, web technologies, Linux. So like after that, I had to like appear for the interviews, and when the list came, then it was all panic that I have to do everything in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So that that was a little panicking, but I knew that I knew the basics of them very well, because it was taught in the curriculum. And also that when I opened all the tutorials and all the notes, I was able to recall everything. So at that point, it was like I don't know this part, I don't know that part. Uh, I was mostly familiar with it, but at that time, yeah, I had to work according to the profile, and also like according to the skills that would be asked in the interviews.
So what do you think helped you more, the curriculum stuff or the things you did apart from your curriculum?
I would say both are equally important, because if you stick with the curriculum itself, then how would you tell them that you are something special among the other people or the crowd appearing for the interviews? Also, like if you only go for the stuff that you like, then you won't be able to reach that interview in the first place, because you have to clear a lot of tests. And secondly, like even if you are able to attend all the interviews, then you won't be able to clear it without the curriculum part. So I think that both of them are equally important, as one tells you that where your interests lie, and the second one would be the, I would say, the foundation on which you can build your career.
So did this lockdown thing or staying at home help you improve your skills, or did it hamper your preparation?
uh, it was like mixed feelings kind of thing. When it started, everyone was a little devastated, because you can't talk to your friends that much. Like normally you go to college and hang out with friends with a like a little time that you have at the end of the day. But like when the lockdown hit, then it was a little disheartening. But then I understood that I have a lot of free times, because I don't have to commute to university and come back. So I was saving like 2 hours or 3 hours. uh, there was like a little time left at the end as well. So moved towards the training part. So uh, at the starting of the lockdown, I thought that I have to uh, like I should appear for the entrance test for MBA or MS. So I went into that training as well. So it was a little disheartening at first, but then I utilized the time quite a lot.
So the thing is, it was a very beneficial period for you. So how would you suggest your juniors to use this time?
I would suggest that the first thing would be to decide a profile, because like when you decide a profile, then you can work towards it. You have to make an outstanding resume, because if your resume would be weak, then obviously you won't even get shortlisted towards the interview sessions. Then I would say that like once you get the profile name, or we can say position, then you can what you can do is like you can search on the internet that like if you want to become a technical solutions engineer, then you have to search like who is actually a technical solutions engineer, and find his resume. So once you get the resume, you can make two columns. One column about the things that you know, or things that you have like most of the idea for, and the second column that you have to work on these things, and you have to you can say the things that you have to include in your resume. So that would be the second step, working towards the resume or towards the profile. The third would be knowing that where these profiles are available. So basically, understanding that where you would fit perfectly, like which company or which exact position. Like if you think of an engineer, then there are multiple types like hardware, software. So you have to understand that where you will fit perfectly, and like the company where you will fit perfectly. So, and also like what your future aspirations are. Like if you are into like you have to become someone who has control over everything, then you have to like move towards like management. So you have to think for your MBA, or if you want to move towards research, MS. So that is up to you. So that would be another step that you have to think of.
So you told us that during the lockdown period, you had this phase that you wanted to prepare for entrances. Many of us also have these feelings like we should shift to some other stream or do something else instead of preparing for the interviews or anything. So, what would you suggest to your juniors who like how should they tackle this feeling, or if they want to get into some other field, they should
I have actually lost her voice.
Isha, can you repeat?
am I audible?
He lost you between.
Okay, so I'll repeat my question. So, like the way you had this feeling, you want to give entrance exams and get into some other field. So many of us have the same thing that we should shift to some other thing rather than preparing for interviews or coding. So, what would you suggest everyone here? They should be doing coding, practicing it, or if they feel they want to get into some other field, they should focus on that or balance it. What would be your take on this one?
Um, in my opinion, I would say that you have to think like of yourself, like where your interests lie. Uh, if you think that you won't be able to, uh, I can say, like if you won't be able to join the corporate, or if you think that your lifestyle doesn't match it, then I think it you would be a better fit for like something else rather than the job itself. But if you have decided that you have like you will work in some multinational company, so then you have to find a profile. You can start by going towards technical or non-technical, segregating at each step. Like if you go towards non-technical, there are like multiple job profiles there as well. If you are going into technical, then you have to find like which exactly is the profile that would be best suited for you. So uh, if you are unable to find like such profiles, and if you think that you would be better suited for research, then I think it would be better for you to prepare for the entrances, like for MS. If you are uh, into patents, research papers, etc., then it would be like very good for you, because when you like file the application for the admissions on like very good universities within India or outside India, then these things like are valuable. Uh, if you are into management, and if you think like I have learned everything in the technical domain, and I think that if I go into management, I can revolutionize some process, or I would be, better suited there. Then you have to go for MBA, or there are multiple post graduation diplomas, degrees that are like in very good universities in UK, US, Canada. But you have to think like where you have to go. You have to decide the profile, because ultimately, even after completing MBA, you have to join the workforce to basically uh, work for your family, earn for your family. So end result is still the same, that even if you go for MBA, you have to work after that. Even like if you go towards technical domain, after a little while, you have to stay updated with the industry. Then you have to like even after joining the workforce, you have to keep learning about the new things that are happening, so that you have to basically own the experience that you will have, and also that you have to stand out from the crowd.
That was really insightful. What do you think the role of internships is in our resume and in our overall personality development?
Yeah, absolutely. Like when you do internship, then you get a taste of the profile that you have to work for the rest of your life, like mostly for the rest of your life. Like I was into like the both technical and management kind of thing, so I went for techno functional in during the internship. So In that you get to know a lot, you get to meet people, you get to make connections, you get like the taste of the actual job that you are going to do. And internships are like not very different from job itself. It is just like um, you would be at a very entry level position, so a little bit of responsibilities would be less, and work would be more. At later stages you will be more responsible for the work, because you you would own a certain, you can say, value to the company as you work in the projects. So that would be the thing. Experience is like quite valuable in resume itself. The more the more suited your internship would be towards your profile, the more chances you would get further the same line, I would say.
So, how do you suggest people to get internships? Like, how did you get them, and how students can get them?
Um, that would it mainly depends at how much at which stage you are, if you consider your knowledge and your work. Like if we think uh, I am in third year, I need an internship. That doesn't work like that. You have to think uh, I know this skill, I know this skill. I think that if I put them together, or if I work on myself, then I would be like perfect for some job opening. Like you have to think like that. And uh, for that also, the first thing would be to find the profile itself. Then internship would be, we can say internship as like a mini job, or the starting of a job. So how to get an internship? Basically, make your resume, apply in the companies. There would be a lot of opportunities in the campus itself. Like recently, it was Goldman Sachs that came to university. So there would be like a lot of opportunities there, but which for which you have to apply, that is a very crucial thing. And uh, your profile, your resume, your experience, a lot of things like would matter at the time.
So are there any companies coming to Chandigarh University for the placement for interviews? Sorry, for internships.
Can you please repeat the question? I didn't get you.
Are there any companies which are coming to Chandigarh University for internship placement?
Yeah, there would be a lot of companies that would be coming, and uh, some would be of internship base, some would be internship plus full time, some would be directly full time. There would be a lot of opportunities. For my role, it was directly full time. The internship I'm currently doing in high radius, it is internship plus the full time. Like if my performance would be good, then I would be offered a PPO, that is a pre-placement offer. Then my joining would be like next year. So both types of company, both I think three I mentioned would come. And there would be a lot of companies, there would be a lot of profiles, and you have to prepare for that accordingly.
So currently there is a buzz for competitive programming, and you must know competitive programming to get placed in such big and huge tech companies. So you think that plays an important role in placements?
See, if you do competitive programming or like similar stuff, then it would be quite beneficial. um, like it mainly depends on the profile, as I said earlier. uh, like if you are going towards software engineer, software developer, so for these profiles competitive programming is like a very good thing. uh, because when you start with the placement process, it would be of like the aptitude test. There would be programming tests as well. So in that programming test, if your code is like a one liner or two liner that can solve a very big problem, then obviously you would be preferred over other candidates. So if your profile is kind like something which requires it, then I would say yeah, it would be like a very good thing to add to your resume if you are doing competitive programming. uh, some companies even ask like if you have any profile on HackerRank, CodeChef, or lead code. So uh, that would be counted as well, like how good you maintain your profile. Some ask your GitHub profile as well, where you have hosted or uh, all your projects, your portfolio based kind of website as well, like Behance, or there are multiple like GitHub. Git has also a portfolio kind of thing. So it depends on the profile, it depends upon the company. If your profile demands the programming skill, then competitive programming is a very good thing to add to it. And even if you are not going towards that, even if you are going towards a different profile, then also it would I'll say it would matter, because if you go towards a semi tech domain or non-technical domain, then you are basically standing out from the other candidates that only have the experience with the business or the skills with just the business. So there your programming would be quite valuable, because most of the world is currently using Python right now. uh, YouTube, Facebook, Netflix, uh, everyone is using Python. So even if you go towards business domain, Python, SQL, Excel, PowerPoint, these skills matter like quite a lot. So obviously it would give edge to you, even if you go towards a non-technical or semi-technical domain.
Great. So, what are the things like that make you different from the crowd? Like, how many people were there for the Google interview, and how did you manage to be stand out of the crowd?
So I would start by like giving the overview of the placement process. It started with we have to submit a video recording for why customer is very important. Then the second part was like an MCQ test. After the MCQ test, uh, then the interviews were scheduled, and we were given a list. So I think around 6,000 people um, gave the test or cleared the test, but at the point of the interviews, there were only 23 left. Like it includes all the like campuses. So uh, after that, there was like a four-round interview. The first round was like 15 minutes round of the overall uh, profile. They asked like if the website is not working, then what might be the possible problems, and how would you detect those problems, how would you solve them, what would be the basic approach. And you have to not only explain it, you have to relate it to the real world. Like I can't just say that there might be an operating system issue. I would have to give the example, and I would have to uh, tell him that like if I ask my friend, then I have to ask him to open task manager and check for the resources that are being used, kind of like real life scenarios. So there your level of explanation and your level of interpreting the problem matter quite a lot. Then there were three rounds left. The second one was based on coding. So it wasn't the completely development kind of test. So that was basically debugging. It included DBMS queries as well, using SQL. Uh, it included Linux commands. It included basic algorithm knowledge of algorithm data structures. Like if they will give you a code and they would ask you that what data structure is defined here, or why we are using this. Is there anything you can do to improve this algorithm? So all these things were asked in the second round. So this round was around like 45 minutes, and it can be dragged up to an hour or an hour 15 minutes if they want. Uh, and obviously, you cannot cheat. You cannot the cliche answer that I would Google it. You can't say I would Google it in a Google interview. And then there was the third round. The third round was highly like rapid fire kind of round. It was highly technical. It included all the questions that was related to the profile, starting with operating system, like what is caching, what is segmentation, what is fragmentation. While I was answering, if I used any term, he immediately asked, you referenced this term or you quoted this term, then what is the meaning of this? Uh, Basically, these terms, these concepts, how, like, it was a very difficult round. He even asked disadvantages of topics that I didn't think that had any disadvantages. Like, what is the disadvantages of caching? When all we are aware of that is caching is something that optimizes the process quite a lot. So you have to think in a real life scenario, like why caching was made and what the caching concept is, so that you can answer those questions. So you have to have a very deep knowledge of all the concepts. uh, then there was networking, there was Linux. If I had to answer I had to answer any question related to the operating system, then I have to answer like what command in Linux I can use to implement that concept. Like if RAM is full, how would you check it? If storage is full, how would you check it? What are different type of storages? Everything you can think of a computer. If you can think of a website, you can think of an application. It included everything. After third round, yeah, at the end of third round, there was a system design part as well, where I was asked to, you can say, propose a system. And while you are deciding anything, you have to explain yourself self with each point that you can think of. Like uh, if he says that you have to design a website that would have 1 million users every day, then you have to think like about the load balancing things, like not even just the software. You have to think of the hardware, you have to think of the security. It included everything. Basically, how deep you can define a problem statement without actually implementing it. Because in industry, you can't just start creating anything, or you can not just start solving any problem. You have to first, you can say, document it, describe it to everyone. You have to have a whole plan of execution in your mind. So that was the third round. And after third round, there was the fourth round, which was the final round. As I said, that the first round was of 15 minutes and rest of all the rounds were of 45 minutes, and they were like from 45 minutes to 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minutes. It was up to them. So the third after the third round, there was a fourth round. It was like it was the managerial round. uh, that was like the scenario based round. It wasn't just the HR kind of interview. Like he won't ask you uh, just the simple questions like where do you see yourself in 3 years or 5 years. He would ask very deep questions related to the profile itself. Like uh, if you are talking to a customer, he's furious, what are the things you can do? If he is creating tickets, a lot of tickets every day, what you can do? uh, so there were a lot of scenario based questions, there were a lot of profile based questions, there were a lot of HR based question, manager based questions. After that after that, they like they tell you that yeah, you were good enough, or uh, they don't actually tell you that you are going to be selected, but they can give a little feedback that here are the things that you missed, because I knew that I made some mistakes while answering, because no one can be perfect, and they also know that no one can be perfect. But there would be like their priority would be finding a candidate who would be almost perfect, or who would be better than everyone else in the crowd, who would be standing out. And like at the end of the interview, I did ask like, are there any things that I missed? Then yeah, he actually told me that these are the things that you missed, and these are the things you can work upon. And the after that, like almost after a month, I received the official confirmation that yeah, I have been selected. They sent the actual notification to university, and university forwarded me along with along that they asked the consent for that. So that was the whole process of selection in Google, uh, which also includes the confirmation.
How did you keep during all these processes and the interviews? Were you not nervous of doing some that maybe did something wrong? Oh God, what I'm going to do next? Did it bother you if you made any mistake? And did you, make it trigger you during the next round?
Um, I didn't get most of the question because your voice was breaking. Can you please repeat?
Okay, yeah. So you had a lot of interviews for the position. So many rounds, you had to go through many rounds. So did you between any rounds feel that the previous mistakes bothered you, or stopped you in some way?
All right. Yeah. So it was a little bit like that in the starting rounds, but you know that like when you go to the next round, you can't take the burden of the previous round or mistakes of the previous round with you. Um, I was a bit nervous in the second round because, as I said earlier, I was not that much into coding, and it was based mostly on the coding part and the algorithms part. So I was a little nervous for that. But in third round, I knew that uh, like I have to give my all to this round, even if my previous round was not that good, like how much I planned for it. So yeah, it was like a bit. Uh, I would say I was a bit nervous in the second round, but yeah, you have to overcome all the fears, and you have to gather all the confidence that you have for the next round.
Really insightful. So what has been your experience like since you've been appointed at Google?
Sorry.
People, how has your experience been after you've been appointed at Google? Are people treating you differently?
Oh yeah, yeah. It is like a wonderful experience. Like wherever I go, like even during the ceremony, when Defense Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh gave the award to me, then at that time. Like whenever I was asked my name and I told that my name is Geet, and the first thing that came up was, oh my god, Google. So that was a wonderful experience. Like the level of respect, the level of popularity that you receive after these things are like incredible. And I would say that those things also like change my personality a bit, and not in a bad way, that I don't have any ego. Normally, people ask me a lot of questions. Like if I show you my LinkedIn, there are a lot of people who are asking like, how do I prepare for the interview, or bhaiya, I am in second year or third year, how should I prepare? And I like tend to answer all of those questions because uh, during my time I didn't have like my kind of senior. because like whenever I asked my senior about something, everyone they were like not that much helpful. That like I like to share things that I know, but not everyone is like that. Because when I asked things, they said go explore it yourself and tell us as well, like how do you do it, or what problem that you faced, etc. So uh, yeah, I knew after that like I was mostly on my own, but uh, that also like gives you a taste of real life, because like not everyone helps you, even in like when you go into corporate. No one like spoon feeds you. You have to find your own way, you have to find your own solutions. So that was my experience, like after Google, before Google, and right now as well.
Isha, would you like to ask anything else?
No, I think we're done with the questions. Now we can have questions from the audience. You guys can put your questions in the chat box and we'll take them one by one. And also, I request you guys to change your name to your original names, as you'll be given certificates according to the same name.
Participants, you can raise your hands so that we can make you the co-host. Priyanshit Banwal, kindly check that. Can you unmute yourself?
Hello. Yes,
Yeah,
Priyashi.
Priyanshit, go ahead.
This is Priyashi. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Um,
evening, Priyashi.
sir, and ma'am, I'm a first year student, and in 11th, 12th, I don't have any subject like computer science. I never studied Java and C and C plus. This is my first semester only, and I just um, learn C, just basic. What should learn in first year to be a good in coding and as Reed Bhaiya, as you all are doing like that.
All right, so you are currently in your first year, and it is very good that you think you have to take initiative to become very successful, like in coming years. So what you can actually do is like select a profile, take small courses on like all the technologies that you have, so that you can understand like these are the things that are in the industry, and you can work upon like one or two of them, or every like every technology as well, if you think that you are that much capable. And regarding the improvement part, I would say that you have to divide your journey in small parts, that now I have learned this language, I have to make a project to on it, and uh, these are the further skills that you have to learn. So you have to divide everything in small parts, and uh, like keep you can say keep achieving those small targets. Only then you would be able to like move from level 0 to level Google, I can say.
And just started web development, HTML and CSS from
It is a
YouTube only.
Yeah, it is up to you. Like, if you are into web development, then you have to learn technologies like HTML, CSS, Python. Uh, you can also learn good frameworks like Django. You can work on the back end, you can work on the front end, you can work on both. You have to make good projects to showcase it. Mainly, like when you go towards the interview, then your resume is like in front of the person who is asking all the questions, the interviewer, and he would ask all related to your skill, not directly, might be directly, but also indirectly from your project. That if you have created a project, you have filed any patent, you have worked on any research paper, he would ask about it. So everything you are learning, you are willing to learn, and you would learn in future. You have to like showcase it in a project or as a project.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. I hope your question was answered.
So good evening.
Good evening.
So myself Ishan Kaushik. I'm currently pursuing UG from Department of Aerospace Engineering at Chandigarh University, and we are truly grateful for your presence here. And you have shared such a wonderful experience from your end. And my question is regarding right now I'm pursuing aerospace engineering, and Google is all about the computer and supercomputer and everything about the CSE. But I want your advice, suggestions, and as a guidance, if I want to merge data science with aerospace and to prepare myself for the companies like Google and any uh, field which is related to CSE, because aerospace is not just only about the manufacturing right now these days, because unmanned systems has been evolved so much. So these companies like Google, IBM, and other companies, they are also working towards this unmanned aviation, the satellite communication, and many things. So how I can prepare myself for this particular thing, like doing data science and aerospace together, how I can pursue the courses and how should I prepare myself?
Yeah, actually, the thing is like when you interview for big companies, they don't actually like segregate you on the basis of the profile that you sorry, not segregate you on the basis of the degree that you are pursuing. Like I have a few friends that were in ECE, and they are uh, like based in software based companies. It is up to you. Like you talked about aerospace itself, so like if you want to merge data science with aerospace, you have to showcase a project, like things you can do using sensors, analyzing their data, because like what they actually do right now is the research part. Whenever like a spaceship is launched, then the main purpose behind it is research, that what kind of environment is out there, or uh, any other project. You can take satellites, you can take drones, you can take anything. Basically you have to think yourself that how you would merge that kind of technology. Thing is that they won't judge you on the basis of the degree that you are from. Obviously, like if I am an interviewer and I am taking um, I have to choose a candidate between someone who is from CSC background and someone from aerospace, and the profile is completely based on uh, like the coding or anything like that. Then I would obviously uh, prefer to take the tests and see their projects. If I think that the person from aerospace is having much better projects and have much better potential to be like a very good employee, then obviously I would choose the aerospace guy. Why would I uh, like discriminate between the degrees? Because at the end of the day, everything is dependent upon the talent, the project, and the potential.
Thank
Rahul, you can proceed with your question. Okay, not available. Deepak Sani.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, first of all, congratulations for your placement. And sir, I want to ask that before placing to Google, I think you have also faced many failures in other companies too. So, sir, what were the experience that you learned from those failures before placing to Google? And second, that what are the resources that are suitable enough for extra subjects like DBMS or operating system or any other theory subjects that are required for the placement in the Google? So means if you provide any, if you can give us idea about resources like YouTube channel of like Gate Smashers or etc. So resources about the theoretical part we have to cover for placement in yes.
All right. So first of all, thanks. And uh, regarding failures, I would suggest that in my case, I knew that I wasn't into software development, so I didn't even apply in one software development company. I have like applied in five or six companies of different profiles. Like one of them was like High Radius, in which I'm currently working for. It is like the techno-functional part. I didn't go in the tech part. Like the tech part is different. So for the failure, I would just say that if you have chosen the right profile and you are working on that, there won't be much failure in your way. And if there is any failure, then you would obviously learn from it, because uh, like if I consider myself, then there was like a company in which I went like I think to the final round. um, but like immediately I was removed from the list. I don't know why exactly, but I knew that like if I consider all the rounds that I have given, which was the weakest round, and I knew that if I want to go towards this kind of profile, then I have to work on such skills. Like for that company, it was like based on quality assurance. So for quality assurance, you have to know coding, you have to know the testing part, you have to know different types of testing, what are the things normally people do for that. And for resources, I would suggest that um, rather than just following some YouTube channel or just referring a playlist, I would say refer books. Um like in my case, there was Behrouz Frozen for networking. There are multiple books for like very famous books for like various subjects. And if you want to refer YouTube, then you should refer Coursera as well, because they have like quite elaborated courses there, and from like renowned personalities and industry professionals that would actually give you pretty much most of the idea about any subject or any profile itself, like IT support that I did. So that would be it.
Thank you so much for answering all the questions. So now I would like to request Sugandha ma'am to present the token of appreciation to Geet Arora.
Isha, due to some reasons, ma'am is not available right now. She's
Okay.
facing some network issues.
Okay.
So on behalf of her, I would like to present the token of appreciation, sir. It was really wonderful session, sir, and definitely people have enjoyed it a lot. And the best part was that about your experience, about failures, about your success. It was really a mind-blowing session, and I truly believe that all of our audience have loved it a lot. So appreciate a small token of appreciation from our side. And we definitely believe that in future also we'll be having a good amount of collaboration with you. for further sessions. So thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for joining today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thanks for this token of appreciation. And yeah, actually, and I also look forward to like collaborate with you guys and uh, to mentor all the juniors that I have to be a very good alumni, to be the senior that I didn't have, but yeah, to make you all the seniors that your juniors would also dream of. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That really means a lot.
Thank you so much, Geet. This is Sugandha Sharma, Branch Councillor IEEE, Chandigarh University Student Branch. So it was a really knowledgeable session. I hope your juniors are going to learn a lot, and you will be the journey you have shared is extremely well. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone will learn a lot. So I think there are, if you have 5 more minutes, can we take up some queries since the many students have raised their hand?
Sure, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am,
So
first of all, and thank you for this session as well, because every time I take this session, I would learn something as well.
Participants, you can raise your hand. I'll be unmuting Chanpreet Singh.
So hi Bhaiya, I am from second year and currently I am doing the intern at the DRDO. So basically Bhaiya, my question is related to the CP, that the CP, how much CP we have to require to get into the product-based company like Microsoft, and the interviewer how much they will ask from the from specific CP after completing all the DSA topics. So at that your time, the interview asks what type of questions from the CP.
All right. So, thing is that it depends upon the profile. I already said that it doesn't depend like on the type of company. It is product based or service based. It depends upon the profile that you are appearing for. Like if you are appearing for software developer, software engineer, then there would be a lot of skills for the coding or programming that would be um, required for that. Uh, like you asked about the questions that they ask in the interview. Uh, I won't be the perfect candidate for that because like I can only share the experience of the interview for my profiles or the profiles that I have already appeared for. I didn't appear for any software developer profile because I wasn't into it. Um, and if you want to like level up your programming skills, I would say go towards any good platform like code chef or lead code and make a very good profile, solve all the problems. And yeah, I already shared that some companies even ask you to share your profiles so that they can review like how many stars you have for that type of skill. Not only the the C++, there are multiple languages. They all have their own benefits, their like disadvantages as well. So it would be very good if you like search a little like for which kind of profile you are going for and what are the things that are required. If the company requires Python, you have to be good in Python. You have to know all the data structures related to Python. You have to implement some very good projects. I already talked about it. And some companies even ask you to showcase your live projects. Like you have to uh, not just only create a project, you have to host them like on GitHub or some portfolios. So that would be it for it.
yeah, Geet, Sugandha, this side, I have one query for the students, right? Because I want like seniors like you, if you share this thing, they will be more valuable to them, right? You, because you have experienced that thing. So can you please lighten up the things that how much projects, the semester projects you do is important in your resume building? Because you tend to know that student won't take their project seriously, they just get up the things and they just submit the same things. So being a senior, being a mentor, can you just share the light
how well they should take their project seriously to build up their resume?
Absolutely, ma'am. It is a very nice question, and I would love to answer it as well because if you talk about the projects, you have to have like minimum of 2 to 3 very good projects. Very good. I mean, uh, even if you take something from GitHub, you won't be able to answer anything in the interviews. I already told that like in the interviews, your projects would be very important. They can ask like literally anything from it. Like if you have taken it from somewhere, you won't be able to answer it. And even if you can answer a few questions, you won't be able to explain what was the concept behind each and every step. In my case, I was asked about all the patents that I filed. I was also asked about the startup I initiated. Obviously, like if you write anything in your resume, you would be accountable for it. You would be held responsible. You would be asked a lot of questions about it. Like in my case, like I mentioned that I increased the profit margin of my startup like around 40% or 50%. Then the manager did ask like, how did you do it? Is it just a bluff? That are you like just a part of someone's else startup? What is something that you did that benefited it? What is your role? What is your responsibility? And not just for the startup, for each and every project it is similar. For each project you will be asked what was your role in it, what technology you used, and why did you use this and why didn't you use this. Like I went to a hackathon as well, so even they asked like why did you use some like API which is already there, and why didn't you create something like that. So there would be very deep questions from all the projects, from everything you write on your resume. You would be accountable for that, and you would have to have like minimum of 2 projects on your resume, and it has to be very, you can say, like very um, capable or good in terms of complexity as well. You can't just make a website and say that I have made this. You have to explain that why is this website different from anything that is available on the internet, or why did you use any technology that is being used in it.
One more question, since sorry for the background noise. One more question, since you have put up a very valid thing into your explanation of the previous question, how you guide your the peers, or we can say your juniors, to participate in outside competitions like hackathon? Should they be
All
motivated? Is it really important? Like it's a very famous question when we have an IEEE Manthan event for first year. How you should stood out of the crowd?
Yeah, if we talk about the concept of hackathons and like the competitions that are being held, I would suggest to participate in each and every competition. Myself did also participated in most of these, like Smart India Hackathon, Yantra. So, what are these exactly? Why do they benefit you? It is because you will gain a lot of experience. There would always be industry leaders in those kind of hackathons, and they would judge you on the basis of the projects that you will make, on the basis of the ideas that you would propose there. Like if I talk about myself, then I was in Chandigarh police hackathon as well. So there the North Indian I think North Indian head of the Nvidia corporation was present, and he himself was judging all the projects that people were uh, showing there. So at that moment you will realize that the level of projects you are making are industry standard or not, and what are the things that you can make. You will get to meet very important people in the industry, and you will gain a lot of experience from it. Also, like if you win, you will be able to showcase a very good achievement in your resume, that you have made something very much valuable, and it won at so much like prestigious competition like Smart India Hackathon. And such hackathons also promote your ideas, like Smart India Hackathon. If your idea is selected there, the government would actually implement that idea for the welfare of the country. So you are basically not only just making a name for yourself, you would be actually able to help crores of people that are living in this country.
Thank you so much, Geet. So we will be taking last three queries. Meanwhile, I'll request Vanshika and Isha to share the feedback link. So Vaibhav, now you can give chance to Ishan.
The feedback form link is in the chat box. You guys can fill it up. And we do have few queries in the chat box. Okay, so someone is asking how and where to find the projects that you can put on your resume.
Basically, it also depends upon the profile itself. Like if you are into web development, you can take any real world problem. And where do you find such problems? I already told that you can participate in a lot of hackathons, a lot of competitions. So like you can also search for previous hackathons like Smart India Hackathon. The problem statements for 2021 or 2020 would also be available, and you can actually work on them, and that is where you can find all the problem statements, not the project. The project would be inside you only. You can't copy someone else's project, and you cannot copy someone else's idea, because not only it is morally wrong, it would be wrong on like a lot of levels.
So I add here one point to Geet answer, that if you start with the beginning step will be your local tech event, right? Chandigarh University organizes every year, and there we too have our hackathons, right? So that would be your beginning step. You can start with that. Further, you can proceed with the outside competition, right? So Ishan, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your query from Geet.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. So my this last question is there only. As you said, you have formed a startup. So being into this aerospace trade and CSE trades, when it becomes a part of research, so will it be a barrier when you form any kind of startup and you are going in the university and you are applying in a university like MIT, USA, Kingston, Cambridge, and Oxford? Because these kind of universities, they are the tycoons in this educational industry. But if any student is going there for their higher education after forming a startup, so I think there are some secrecy things, secrecy acts for every particular country. So will it be a barrier for students like us forming their startup in their UG programs in their early stages, I mean?
No, absolutely not, because like wherever you would apply, these kind of things would be considered as a very good experience. And like think of it like that: if there is a person coming for the admissions, and one is having a startup on his resume, then obviously we can look up like what kind of startup it is, how much he has worked on it, like his capability, his potential. uh, like whenever you go towards any university, when you file an application, it not only judges just your marks, it also judges like how would you contribute towards the development of their nation or their university. So these kind of things are like very valuable for it, and there won't be any issues like negative kind of things for that. But when you go for the interviews, they would ask a lot of questions about it, like what are your future plans, are there any problems that you faced, how did you solve those problems, what are your future plans for it, what would you be able to give appropriate time to our organization when you already have to manage your own organization. So these are all the things that you have to think about it yourself and answer there.
So thank you so much for answering this. That means there won't be any issue if we form our startup and apply for the higher education at universities abroad. So there won't be any consequences for that, like Secrecy Act, like in defense industry or any kind of things.
Yeah, like mostly it won't be like that. You should carefully read about the application process for any university or any we can say for any profile that you're applying for. uh, and obviously you have to think everything beforehand, like before the interview itself, like what would be like the questions that would be
Okay,
asked
sir.
and
Thank you so
what
much,
would
sir.
be.
Thank you so much.
So the last query of the day will be from Arvind.
Yeah.
Arvind, you can unmute yourself.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Very good evening, sir. Basically, I am currently pursuing my BE in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. My first question from you is that will company notify for what job role they are going to hire their candidate or coming for a placement?
Yeah, absolutely. You will be provided the name of the profile, the location, the like in some cases you would be provided the compensation as well. Uh, you would be given job description as well, like what kind of job it is. And it is like not just the name that is of the profile, it would be everything that would be included in the job description. So everything would be given to you, and there would be multiple opportunities in this university. And I am very grateful for the one uh, that I got. And there won't be any issue if you have the certain skill set, and if you have worked on your resume and on your skills, it would be like very easy.
Yeah, sir, I want to ask that suppose that there is a condition that you are interested in a machine learning, you are interested in artificial intelligence, and you are going to sitting for a placement, and you got a successful place for a job role, which is not a part of your field. Then in that condition, what would you do? You are suppose that you are in Google at a very high package good package you have placed, but you have not given your interested job role.
uh, First thing I would suggest is always like go into any profile if it interests you, because like we also know that if you think the latest trend is of machine learning, so not everyone can learn machine learning and go towards it, because uh, like if it doesn't interest you, you won't be able to grow in it. That is also a secondary stage. The primary would be like to get a job in the same profile, because if it doesn't interest you, first thing you won't be able to grasp it that good. And if you grasp it, then you won't be able to work on it very well. So the first thing I would say is always follow your interest, and find profiles exactly that would interest you. And secondly, if you for some reason like stuck in this situation, then I would suggest that learn about all the options that you have. Like if in my case I want to move towards customer facing role rather than the technical profile, then I would have to talk to the internal talk to the management internally if it is possible. What are the steps? Do I need to get an MBA? Do I need to complete a course? Do I need to clear some interview? So these are all the things that would be required, but it always depends upon the company or the profile that you're applying for.
Yeah, so sir, let us talk about like Google. You are currently working in a Google. So sir, Google provide freedom to their employees that they are able to freely talk that sir, I am not able to do this work, or I am not fit with this job role. So can I change, or is there any possibility of these?
Yeah, there is. Like if I want to go towards software developer rather than the technical solutions engineer, then I would have to appear for the same process that like Google hires, using that process for SDE, like all the interviews that would be required. it won't be like that. Like if I go into the technical solutions engineer role and say the next day that I don't want to work here, I want to work like as a software developer, and I want to switch immediately. It doesn't work like that. So mostly depends upon company. In Google there is an option, but like to avail that option or to like it would be basically like starting from the first step. So I would rather suggest that always choose the profile according to the interest.
Yeah. And sir, my last question is that before placement and after placement, suppose that I have a startup idea which is related to a product or a service on which my company is going to working. So they will allow me to work in their organization, or will kick out me.
I already explained that regarding everything to your startup, you would be asked a lot of questions, and based upon those questions and your performance in later stages, it would be decided that if they are like happy with your performance or not. Like if you are giving 90% of your time to your own startup and not working in the company that you are placed in, obviously they would kick you out and um, not allow
Yeah.
you to do such kind of thing. But if you are able to manage both of them, there won't be any problem.
Yeah, okay, sir. And after placement, suppose that you are working in a Google, है ना, and you have a planning or you are working on a that is startup that is related to Google, or you are suppose that you are building Google or something doing to beat Google. So in that scenario, your company will take you or kick out.
Obviously it won't tolerate such kind of things. And like in the term sheet that you would sign for that corporation, there would always be a point that while working in this organization you can't do anything that opposes it or that creates a competition for it. But on the other hand, if you have something some great idea, and rather than opposing the current company, you can actually ask them to acquire it. So that would be a better solution, and I think it would be the only solution, or you would have to leave the company.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Geet.
you.
To adding mother, Arvind was having a question. If we want to, if the role is not suitable for us, and we are going to for that company, right? So, for your kind information, Arvind, every organization offers you internal job posting, right? After your successful internship, you can discuss with your manager, and the postings are open, and it will be on your organization portal where you can apply for the dream role if you are looking further, right? So the checkpoints will be really clear in the internal job posting. If you qualify that, you can apply for that. So in the first job, it is entirely your choice whether you look for the brand or for whether you look for your role. So the choice is really clear, which should be clear in your mind, right, Arvind? So thank you so much, Geet. And for the other participants, sorry, we cannot take all the queries since the time is over. Thank you so much, Geet, for being such a calm presenter. This is one of the like most miserable thing that I haven't got such a calm student while answering to the query of the juniors. So it is really commendable. Thank you so much. Now you can officially leave the session. If you have a single line code to share with your juniors, the platform is all yours.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm very really grateful for this opportunity, and um, I would just suggest that always help each other out. Um, I'm not talking about cheating in the exams and something like that, or making each other's project. I am suggesting about collaborating over things, explaining each other whatever you learn, so that you can all grow collectively. And I would always suggest that like me, always try to help your juniors, always try to guide them, so that you also know that like what the bigger purpose of working somewhere is, to actually help like each other and to grow in hand in hand. All right, so thank you guys and have a nice rest of the day. And thank you, IEEE, for having me here. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity from Chandigarh University, which landed me a job in Google. So thank you, and have a rest nice of the day.
Thank you for being with us, sir.
And guys, stay tuned for more with IEEE USB for the more such events. So over to you, Vanshika. You can officially end the session now.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you for each and every one of you for being with us today and sparing your time. We really appreciate your efforts and we hope that we have helped you towards a brighter future. Thank you. You can all leave now.